okay model. So as you can see, it's a truck. Okay, this is something different for me. I have not built a truck since I was a teenager. And it's not that I don't like trucks, I absolutely love them, and some of the competitions I've been to and seen some of the trucks, some of the work I've seen online, absolutely beautiful, and I do love trucks. It's just that I went off in other directions, a lot of military stuff and things like that, you know, all my Star Wars, all that sci-fi stuff, and I just sort of never got back around doing a truck. Now, back when I was younger, one of my two favourite kits that I ever put together, one of them was the rubber duck, the old Mac out of the Convoy movie, and that kit's actually been re-released, but it's not the rubber duck, it's actually just that kit, but it's released as the truck itself. So you can actually buy that now and do it up as the rubber duck, except you won't have the rubber duck on the hood. That was one of them, and the other truck I built was like some Superliner that I'd built, and those two were two of the most memorable models I ever put together, two trucks. I just absolutely love them. And around that same era, this beautiful beast here was actually running. It was actually on the drag strips. So it was one of those things in trucking life, and even here in Australia, and even way out at Emerald, the little town I lived at out west, you couldn't pick up anything to do with trucks without seeing a picture of this beautiful beast on it somewhere. It was a huge sensation in its day. Like it was the most powerful, fastest diesel-driven truck anywhere in the world. The other thing that was special about it, to some of us here in Australia, was the fact that this beast here ran up against an Australian truck that was called Waltzing Matilda. And Waltzing Matilda was a jet powered truck, and I was lucky enough as a teenager to actually see that truck running, the Waltzing Matilda. It was at a race course, like a horse racing course out at Emerald, so they couldn't wind her up to full speed, but we got the whole thing of arcing her up with a shell to, you know, fire the jet up, and then they give her a good run up the track, like at a fair sort of speed. We felt the jet blast as she come around the bend, all that sort of stuff. So that era, it takes me back to my childhood, and just as soon as I seen this box in my mate's shop, straight away it just took me straight back to all that and those feelings I had, and just how exciting it was. So this is something I'm really excited about doing, guys. Now, this kit's actually like a re-release. It's not something new, it's a re-release. I just never had the money back when this was initially released to ever get this, and we didn't really have much of an option out west where I was. These never really came into stock or anything like that. We never had an opportunity, and plus I wouldn't have had the money anyway. So to finally, at 50 years old, get my hand on this thing is just so exciting, guys. Forgive me if I make brum brum noises while I'm doing this review, but honestly I'm really excited to do this beast. As you can see, she's absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous looking truck. Just ignore the split in the top of the box there. That's my own stupid fault. I actually dropped it with another kit, and the kit on top sort of hit the box and split it. But yeah, it's just, I'm just so excited to do this thing, guys. I'm really excited to show you what's inside this box. So as you see, box art's really beautiful on this. On the side here we have some information. The guy who owned this truck and drove it, Tyrone Malone, there's a photo of him over here. Now, the truck, you can see there, the drag truck's up on the back of another truck. That truck there is called Papa Bear. That's the one they used to carry from race to race. And you can actually buy that kit again too. They've re-released that as well. So if you want to have this thing posed up on the other truck, fantastic option. It's just great that they've re-released both those as well. Another gorgeous photo of it over here. As you can see, she's just a beast of a machine. Around the sides there's not much else. On this side here we've got another photo, like a beautiful profile of her. And this one here, hopefully you can see this is not too dark, but that's the engine. Absolutely gorgeous. And I know the engine is in this kit. How detailed it is I'm not sure, but if we can pose this bonnet open, you'll be able to show that beast off. It's just gorgeous the way they've got that done up, all in the red and blue and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, guys, we'll open her up, we'll have a bit of a look through and see what we've got inside the box here. So obviously I have had this one open. I'll take all this out. So we've got our chassis rolls here. I'm just going to put my glasses on, guys, so I can see what I'm actually looking at again here. Okay, now you're looking at an older kit. Like I say, this has been re-released, and so she's a pretty old kit, and you can tell that as soon as you see the sprues. It's like a lot of the old AMT kits, like it's a bit thicker in the mouldings, but the details there's some nice detail on all the bolt heads and things like that. Got our leaf springs, and obviously you know you're going to get some flashing on these old kits, and you know you're going to have big seam lines running over everything, which this has got. But again, this takes me back to that era of modelling where you did have a bit of work to clean things like that up. When I was a kid and built this thing, I don't think I even cleaned those seams up. It was just basically cut them off. It was big hunks of sprue. I'd break them off and glue it together and get it done. That's just what I used to do as a young modeller. It was just getting them built, but yeah, everything's there, guys, and the detail's quite nice for what it is. Like I say, an older kit. That's our chassis rails in there. I'm not sure about these guys. They're obviously the braces between the chassis rails, but like I say, all the details there. One of the things I absolutely adore about this kit, guys, is the fact that they have got that white writing is on the tyres. So it's something you don't have to worry about. I think back in the old kit it was either a decal or you had to hand paint them on there. It was raised detail that you could paint on there, but I know they weren't on the tyres in the original one, so it's fantastic they've done that. Really nice touch. Now the chrome, as you'd expect, the chrome's fairly thick on this. The bit I was really concerned about was the rims, but the rims do look actually quite nice. They're very, very nicely done. It's the older, thicker type chrome work that we always see on these kits, but it's gonna serve the purpose. I mean, you could go to the trouble of stripping all this back and redoing it if you want to. I'm actually going to try one of those new chrome pens for the say seam lines where where you cut them off the sprues and you have to fill that in. Apparently those chrome pens do that really, really well because it just looks exactly like this chrome, so you're not going to see where you do that. But yeah, that's all fine. And here we have lots of our engine parts and all our turbo lines and things like that. And they're quite nice. We've got our, well, they're not stacks, but exhaust systems that run out. And they're beautifully chromed, but like I say, you're going to have to cut these off the sprues, and then you're going to have those parts there where it's been cut off that you'll have to fill in. Tappet head covers up there, beautiful chrome fan on the front there, and here's our exhaust down the side here, absolutely gorgeous. But like I say, you're going to have to nip them off there, and you're going to end up with some black spots or whatever colour the plastic is under this. It's probably white or black or something, but you will actually have to fix those up when you take it off. Okay, there's that beautiful cab. Just looking around this, there is a little bit of flash on it, not a lot, but there is flash on there, guys, to be cleaned up. A few injector pin marks, but they're hopefully all in places you are not going to see them unless I don't know if there's a hood liner in here, but if you look up there's a couple of great big injector pin marks on that. Okay guys, so I can see one little fault on here in the moulding process. I'll get this to come right up to the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. If you just forget the paint on my finger there, guys. You can see there where that hasn't moulded properly, there's actually a great big gouge in there that'll have to be filled in. The other thing I noticed, the seam lines around where decals sit, they're actually raised, so they'll probably have to be sanded back down. As long as you know you can put your decals on there nice and straight, you shouldn't need to have those raised areas. But they're sort of like a guide where your decals go. But it's not bad by any means. Like there is a bit of flashing, like I say, a little bit of cleanup work to go on there. But again, it's the era of the kit, and it's part of modelling like from that era to be able to do that sort of thing. But that is quite nasty. That little gouge up in there, that'll definitely have to be fixed up. And here's that beautiful snout, that beautiful nose that sits on. As you can see, like I say, these older kits, you see it flashing there, hanging off the guard. That's just something you're going to expect in these older kits, guys. But by all means, it's all there. The shape's all there. A little bit of flashing around that headlight over there, but the shape's definitely there. Just going to take a bit of work to make it nice and clean. We've actually got the texture, the fiberglass texture, which is a nice touch. That fiberglass texture on the inside here, which, because she was all fiberglass, it had to be all sort of moulded and because it was a unique shape. We've got two big injector pin marks right up underneath there, so if you are going to have your hood lifted up, and there's actually another two down here that'll have to go, if you're going to have it lifted up, they're going to have to be taken out or covered in some way, but they just can't be there. And we've got that underneath there, which that's all the manufacturing details, made in China, of course, because everything is. But that's okay. It'll just, so if you want to have your bonnet up showing off that beautiful engine, that's just something you're going to have to take care of, which I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do or not yet, guys, but that's something I'll look at during the build. It would be a shame to cover the engine up if it's nicely detailed. And this little bag of goodies here, we've got all our, this looks like diffs and, well, not diffs, but the gearboxes and things like that. There's our engine, and it definitely looks like it's got some detail into it. The main block here's got like a really rough texture, like the old engine texture on it. Gearbox looks fine. There's front steering arms and stuff. So everything looks fine, but again, there's lots of bits of flash and seam lines that have to clean up. The underside of these wings, big injector pin marks, which I will be cleaning up, even though they're underneath. And really, unless people get right down and look up under, they're not going to see those. But still, I just want to make sure they're clean. I will be definitely taking those out of there. You can see what I mean by flash on these older kits. There's great big chunks of it over here on the side of the packet. But that, again, the age of the kit. And there's that beautiful tail end. Just look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Just that beautiful downward slope. And of course this has the big wing that'll sit up over the back here as well. So yeah, that really, it's a striking looking machine. Now the attachment point on this bit of sprue here is just huge. It's just great big chunky style attachments. And I'm not sure if those semicircle parts stay on there, but it's something I have to look at as I go through the build. But regardless whether they have to come off or whether it comes off those, there's great big chunky attachments there, which you'll have to be careful taking them off and cleaning that up. Again, where the decals go around this thing, there's big raised lines everywhere where they go. So, you know, that to me, I'll be cleaning those up. I'll be taking them down. I don't think the real version had big raised edges around that stuff. I will check on that before I take them off, but I don't think it would have done. And I did take this out. It was one of the first things I've done. I wanted to check the windscreen, the glass in this, and it is fine, guys. It's not the best glass I've ever seen in the world, but it's far from the worst. I'll put my finger under there. I can see it clearly. It's not distorted in any way. It's very, very nice. So it's a little bit. I don't know. You can sort of see a slight texture to it. It's nothing too serious, but it'll definitely do the job. And you know, looking in straight through the sides, straight through the front. It looks beautiful. It's only when you get it in certain levels you can see that bit of distort or that bit of surface detail that's in it. But that's going to be awesome for what we want anyway. And we've got one last bag of goodies here, and we have our tub there, the inside of that cab, which it's actually got texture on it, the padding texture. You know, like the padding they used to have in the old trucks and things like that. That texture is all built into that. Got our drive shafts there, fuel tanks, the end parts of our rims, which you can paint those up or leave them. They're not probably going to be seen, but yeah. Got our diffs there, our diff housings, some nice detail. I can see all the bolt heads around those. I can see bits of flashing, guys. It's not like overly bad, but there is bits of flashing on a lot of this. The seats are fairly plain, so if you want to put seat belts and stuff like that, all that stuff's going to have to be built. You know, you'll have to do all that stuff yourself, which is, it's not hard. A bit of tape and things like that, you can do it. It's not hard to do. Steering wheel's got all the detail in there, which is nice. Something I did miss, which has got to be in one of these somewhere, is the big fin on the back. I must have missed it in one of these bags. Too big of a hurry to go. Oh, there she is. I don't know I missed that. There's that beautiful big fin that goes up there. And again, really nice. Everything's there. I can see the raised detail where the decals go. But yeah, that's that beautiful big fin sits up over the back of it. Just gorgeous. It has got injector pin marks that will have to be cleaned up, but it's not too bad at all. It's got a lovely shape to it. I sort of worry with some of these kits that if they get distorted or bent in the bag, especially parts like that. But that's really nice, guys. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Take these out and have a look at what else we got in there. Got a few other goodies, or I have opened this open and had a quick look, guys, and there's some lovely little goodies in this. So here's our instruction sheet, obviously, which you get this with all the kits, and each front page with all your screw call-outs. Then we go into, this is one of those big ones, a 3-page fold out. So the first steps, like all these sorts of things, engine going together, like it looks like all the mounting brackets, turbos, things like that are going in, like your intake compressor pipes. And it looks like, yeah, even just looking at this, you know there's going to be some detail in this. And I know some of this is chromed, so you'll have to paint all the engine colours in that first and then put your chrome parts on if you're going to do the engine. Tyres going together, then our chassis. There's a bit of work just in cleaning the chassis up, putting that together, because we know by the seam lines and things like that. We've got our engine going on there, diffs going together with our brakes going in there. Some more going on to the back onto the chassis rails. Then we're starting to do our nose here with all the pretty bits. Now obviously these are like cars, you would put them together in a similar way to cars. You can do all the building of the chassis and engine and stuff in one section, all the body art, which would be painted nice and pretty and shiny, would be done in a separate, and you put them together. This is the last step, putting all that together. Here's the interior, which there's that padding we're talking about, which means there's nothing up on the roof to cover those injector pin marks. So if you're worried about people looking up under there and seeing that, you might have to clean those up. Steering column, our dash. I did see the dash earlier on when I opened the kit up, and it has got all the gauges and that built into the plastic, which is nice. There's that beautiful big fin going together up there. And then, like I say, this is your last step. All the parts go together to make her up, to finish her off. And then we've got our decal call-outs there and painting guides on there. And that's it for the instructions, guys. Very, very straightforward. And it looks like you'll put that together in 5 minutes, but believe me, you won't, because there's a lot of cleaning up and stuff. Mailing list thing there. This one here had me a little bit surprised. I haven't seen anything like this. So this is, you fold this all up, you cut it out and fold it up, and it's actually a replica of this box. So it's a kit box, but in miniature, which is it's something really unique. I haven't come across this. Maybe this is something AMT do. I'm not sure, but that's a really cool little idea. Which I'll be putting it next to the model, I guess, to show it off. It's just something a little bit cool. A bit of an advertising brochure there with a bit of AMT stuff in it. The decals are in here. No, they're not. I've taken them out. And pull these up with the damaging them. And as you can see, they're quite nice. They are thick, guys. Be warned, they are like your older type details where they've got that big, thick raised area around them. But you know, we can work wonders these days with gloss coats and stuff to try and get these to blend in more with the surface. Plus, that raised detail on the truck, if you sit these down between that, maybe that'll bury it. I'm not sure. I'd be a bit iffy about doing that, but you know, it's something that might work. But there is a clear edge around every one of these that if you want to put them in between those lines, I dare say you have to take that clear strip off there, so cut them nice and close to the colours. But everything's there. It's got like the Australia there. This must be the continents where she actually raced or where she held records or something. But yeah, very, very nice stuff. I'll put this back in there to make sure they're protected. And this one here is something that I really, really love. Okay, that's a photo of her out in the salt flats where she broke the records. Just gorgeous. Just seeing that photo is just like I go straight back to my childhood, because it was one of those famous photos and one of those famous sessions when she was out on those salt trucks. There was salt flats. There was so many photos taken of her, and this is one of the famous ones. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. She's just such a mean machine. And to have this included in the kit is just such a great little extra that they've thrown in there. Just beautiful. So I'll be probably putting this in Lemonax and put maybe a little tiny simple frame around it, and it'll be hanging up in my room here somewhere. Just so every time I look at it, I'll go back and I'll be, 30 years younger. But yeah, just beautiful that they've thrown that in. I'll put that down face down to make sure it doesn't get damaged until I can get around to actually put it together. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much the end of the review. There's not much else I can tell you about it, except that I'm really, really excited. As you can probably hear by my voice and the way I'm rambling with this, but really excited to get this one done. So it won't be too far away from me trying to put this one together for you. It's gonna sort of push my my modelling skills to the limit, because like I say, I haven't done a truck since I was a teenager, and I'm not big on painting cars. I don't have the skill set. Like a lot of people who are into cars, I don't have that skill set of getting those beautiful finishes. It's something I have to work on. But you'll see me go through all that when I actually do the build. And like I say, it won't be too long until I do it. I'll just give a quick wrap to my mate's shop. The guy, I've put him in a few of my videos now. This is the guy who I actually got this off. Got it for a really, really good price. He looks after me because I help him out a bit as well. He looks after us local modellers, but he'll also look after you. If you give him a call, if you're here in Australia, give him a call. He can definitely get these things in for you. I think he's got them on the shelf for 68 or something like that. I really can't remember, but give him a call. He'll definitely look after you. Really nice guy to deal with, and he does have PayPal. He will do mail order, all that sort of thing. If there's anything he hasn't got in stock, he can definitely get it in for you. And like I say, good bloke to deal with. So give him a call, guys, if you're interested in this kit or any others. But that's pretty much it. Just make sure down below, guys, you check all my links out down there. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video.